Now, if we learned one lesson from the struggle of the Hillsborough families, it must surely be that others affected by public tragedy deserve better. That was the conclusion of a former Bishop of Liverpool today in a report commissioned by the government. Its title, The Patronising Disposition of Unaccountable Power, gives some sense of the injustice felt by many.
If the Hillsborough disaster was an appalling loss of life that should never have happened, then neither should the treatment of those it touched most. People like Mary Corrigan, whose son Keith died that day, put through decades of torment by a system stacked against the bereaved families.
I don't think I've had a full night's sleep in those 28 years. It's affected me terrible. I don't recognise myself now to the way I used to be.
On the day the families finally got justice for those who died, Bishop James Jones began his work seeking the same for them. 18 months on in his report, the former Bishop of Liverpool talks of a burning injustice in the treatment of bereaved families. He says there should be increased funding for those challenging public bodies and demands a duty of candour from police and others, a Hillsborough law making it a criminal offence to cover up wrongdoing. What the families experienced was shocking, he said.
As I sat in those conversations, I heard things that I'd never heard before, and some were deeply shocking. And we've included 160 quotes from the families in the report.
Margaret Aspinall, whose son James died at Hillsborough, was one who denounced the investigation and the original inquest.
What a farce. The whole lot of it was a farce from day one.
Today she welcomed the prospect of a Hillsborough law, saying she hoped the Grenfell Tower families would be the first to benefit.
Who's ever in power will take heed and take stock, and that's what I urge them. Please don't let Grenfell families go through what we've gone through.
A leading barrister who helped draft Hillsborough law says Grenfell is an obvious application.
It took a long time for the Hillsborough families, a very long time for the Hillsborough families to get truth and justice. And this is designed so that no other families have to go through a process like that. So that's the whole purpose of it, and we firmly believe that it will be effective.
In West London, those united by a common experience of tragedy have been watching events in Liverpool. Ahmed Shalat, who lost 5 family members in the Grenfell fire, says the Hillsborough families are an inspiration.
The way they went through, it's incredible. But we've learned, I have learned something from them. What they insist on us to do is to unite. If we don't unite, we're not going to get anywhere.
At Anfield, there's already a memorial to the 96. Today, they hope, in Hillsborough law, they can add a legacy. Paul Davies, News at 10, Liverpool.